In this video, Clatter, Neubauer, and Luther J. Yoder apartment building. Fall is unfortunately upon us, which means that the weather is only going to get worse until we're stuck in the unending, freezing, bleak, gray darkness of winter's grass. Subtle biases? No, not at all. Anyway, welcome back to the first actual rail fanning video since my plane spotting video about 3 months ago. We start off like we always do in Altoona, Pennsylvania. After that singular ACU set, we moved over to the west slope of the Horseshoe Curve to catch Amtrak 145 leading 43 around the curve. I guess leading is a bit redundant there, but hey, there's always time for Amtrak to be Amtrak. After that, 18N came around the curve eastbound with two C6Ms of varying ages, and then 11V came around westbound from behind 18N, which means that the foamers on the curve cam got covered up. Next, 29G gave us a little horn toot, and we'd end the day with filming these helpers pushing empties. The next day I went to the Everett Railroad to chase Everett 260 number 11. I started out by filming the Curry Rail GP10. I'm not joking, they're actually called Curry Rail. I stood under a highway overpass to avoid having 5 foamer bombers in my shot, which, by the way, we should make foamer bombers a railfan term. It's so useful and intuitive to use. Foamer bomber, a person, usually a foamer, standing in the way of your shot of a train because they're unaware you're filming and they're too focused on the train passing. Today Everett was running with her SW900 numbered 126 pushing from the back, for which I got a low shot before leaving and beginning the chase. Cue the chase music. I barely had enough time to get out of my car and start filming for the curved trestle west of Everett Station, but I mean, let's be honest, I was really pushing the limits of how close to the next spot I was. After that, the excursion picked up speed and I beat it down to Clatter. It's actually near Puttstown Township, but it says Clatter and I like Clatter better, so I'm going with Clatter. After panning, I caught the engineer staring at me. I guess he thought I had a nice camera or something. All I know is he wasn't looking where he was going. I then beat the excursion down to Roaring Springs, where it goes across this large embankment next to the road.
Oh, SAS, the shot is backlit.
Silence.
It's good enough, plus this wasn't the best shot of the day. I knew it was going to be backlit, but the next spot was so far away that I had time to film here. After Roaring Spring, I was driving down Smith Transport Road, and I happened to notice this little hill where you could see the tracks go across this big hill, and so I made the split-second decision to stop here instead of the other spot I had planned, and this is the shot that resulted. I then beat the train down to Martinsburg, where while I was waiting for the train I noticed a little cat staring at me from a drainage pipe. It eventually ran back inside the pipe and came out the other side later. And eventually the excursion came rolling through while I was set up in front of the Cargill grain silos. Once the engine got near me, the conductor gave me a nice little wave.
SAS, that's actually the engineer, you always mess this up.
Silence.
I purposely have never bothered to remember which side the conductor versus engineer sit on because all of the foamers that get pissed off amuse me. I stayed in the same place for the return trip, but I moved spots to film it better. The Everett Railroad has a Y in Martinsburg where they turn the train around, and speaking of turning around, the engineer was still not looking where he was going. Like, I mean, come on, how is he supposed to drive the train with him not looking at the tracks ahead so much? After this shot, I learned that Amtrak 43 was being pulled by a Phase 7 P42 which had a private car in the back, so I moved over to Tipton after the spot I was thinking about going to ended up being a private property. For all those wondering, this gravel crossing between Tipton and Tyrone is trespassing. Anyway, here's Amtrak. Fun fact, I actually know some of the people that were inside that private car when it went by me. After that mid-shot of Amtrak, I began my SAS Railfan sophisticated videography arc, where I started off by filming 11K from a really low angle while trucking my camera to the side. Now there's a fun videography vocabulary term. I then took a bunch of interesting, albeit shaky shots for B-roll. Tell me how I did. First off, we have a wonderful still shot looking down the barrel of a crossing gate. Second, we have another still shot looking at the very unique crossing light located in Tipton. Third, we have our first shot that explores movement with this ground level shot that begins in some shrubbery and trucks rightward to a focus on the passing train. If a shot with a locomotive is more what you're looking for, then entry number 4 may be your speed. Here we look through a wild carrot flower at an ace mid-DPU. For those looking for only the most exquisite of shots, here is our finest video we have on offer. This features another rightward trucking shot that pulls back the cover provided by this staghorn sumac bush to reveal 11V led by our finest C6M. We thank you for your interest in our display and wish you luck on your decision. 11V ended up meeting with a stopped 6K4 because for some reason all these fans were stopped due to some issue far east of Tyrone. While 11V was passing, I started talking to a very nice older gentleman from Ohio who was visiting the Pittsburgh line as a personal vacation. Well, we were interrupted by the Southern Heritage unit being the mid-DPU and 11V. Both me and the nice older gentleman, who I definitely didn't forget the name of, decided to chase the Southern to Gallitzin once this intermodal was done loading. The first thing we saw when arriving to Gallitzin was an ACU set because I definitely haven't seen enough ACU sets in my life. Next up was 11K again and then 591 with a -9 trailing. And after that, I decided to do something a little special for the next train, because the next train had an amazing consist. So I started out panning across the town before this amazing consist came by. Like, this catch was absolutely insane. You guys are never going to believe what I saw. I don't think this kind of rareness will ever happen again. This was a 1 in a million lash up that nobody will ever see again for the rest of time. People will look back on this day and regret not coming to the pit line because the greatest lash up to ever be created had been created. The divine consist in question was a C6M and a Givo. Lamau, get trolled, noob. Anyway, an ACU set jump scared me to end off the night. A week later, everyone was getting updates that Amtrak 968 would be towing an Aero train set through town by 2 P42s, and everyone and their grandma's ashes went out to see this train. I chose to go to Bellwood because I knew nobody would be there, and I ended up being correct. I was pretty lucky that I went to Bellwood too, because I found a C6M sitting still as a rear DPU on what I think was 18N. And after 5 minutes, the Amtrak Foam Fest came and met with the stationary C6M complete with 2 horn shows. 2 days later, I was out with my boy Trains for Life checking out everything we could that was east of Tyrone, which was uncharted territory for the both of us. We started off in Ironville, where we saw 595 pass over a small stone bridge. If you like stone bridges, trust me, they get better than this. By the way, I cut out the part of the start of the video where I was fumbling trying to block the sun from my camera. I swapped sides of the bridge for 63V being led by 3 C6Ms, or as the geriatric community on the Pittsburgh line railcans know it,
Oscar the trash train, oh my guys, this train stinks.
Anyway, we were waiting there for C42, so whoop, there it goes. Yep, this is literally all of the footage I got of C42 because it jump scared us. After this, we decided to pace C42 down Route 22 through Ardenheim. And for this, there's only one song fit for the occasion. Plus, this just reinforces the fact that Freebird syncs with anything. The speed limit was 55, by the way, and that's exactly the speed I was going, so we weren't speeding and there wasn't anybody behind me. I'm going to play the whole clip, so skip to this timestamp if you hate fun. So with that, enjoy this completely uncut pace of C42. We tried beating C42 to Mount Union, but it went barreling by as we were pulling into the bridge that we were going to film at. So we waited for the next train to come our way, which ended up being 26X heading westbound over the second stone bridge of the day. After that was 13V, which was towing a fresh ST40-3. Next up was the top half of Amtrak 42 being led by yet another Phase 7 B42. After this we moved over to Barry, Pennsylvania, where we started off by seeing two cats while we waited. For the next train to pass, me and Trains for Life decided to switch cameras to see what each other's cameras was like. Don't make fun of his videography skills, I'm still teaching him the ways of filming. After this, we were getting ready to leave when the crossing gates came on for 25P being led by a Dash 9. We didn't have much time to react, so I just filmed from next to my car. Hey, why is the center line under me? We then moved over to New Enterprise Stone and Lime Co., where there's a large mine next to the tracks. We specifically came over here to film C42 on its return trip to Altoona. Before that, we'd get 36A led by a single C6M. And after a small wait, C42 came through, and I don't know why, but this shot gives me some like 1980s, 1990s era old NS footage vibes, except with higher quality and an Operation Lifesaver unit. After this, we were going to go to Mattawanna Junction, but on my way there, through the trees, I'd noticed this insanely big bridge spanning over the Juniata River. This bridge was a little secluded and hard to get to, and we were basically standing on a rocky outcropping. If you guys ever want proof that I'll do anything for the shot, here's proof. I was standing on the two sketchiest rocks that were as far out as I could go to see more of the bridge. And get this, I didn't fall in. Anyway, we were waiting on Amtrak 43, which had Amtrak 130 leading. Here's the clip. Let's play How Many Engines? For this game, you need to guess how many engines the next train has. Closest guess wins. Contestant number 1, how many engines will be on the next train?
Howdy folks, it's Real Fan Austin, and I think there will be 5 locomotives.
Alright, now contestant number 2, how many engines will be on the next train?
Hi, I'm Upchess. I think there will be 5 engines.
Alright, now on to contestant number 3, how many engines will be on the next train?
Hey, I'm the Freight Escape, and I think the next train will have 3 engines.
Alright contestants, let's watch the video of 29G and see who got the closest. Congratulations to contestants 1 and 2. The correct answer is 5 engines. Thank you for playing How Many Engines? Don't forget to check out these guys' channels and also join the Discord in the description if you want to be chosen for a cameo yourself. After 29G, we decided to head over to Mattawanna Crossing, but as we were climbing through the woods we heard train noises and walked out to the clearing to find 596 sporting a Chivo and another Dash 9. After this we did head over to Mattawanna Crossing, where we'd immediately find 11V, which had another Dash 9 trailing. For this shot I went full tryhard mode and started looking at the sign for the Luther J. Yoder apartment building, which was apparently built before the Civil War, and then zoomed out for 11V. I will admit I panned out a little early, but that's because I didn't want to be late. We then started climbing on an embankment on the other side of the tracks to see what the shot would look like from there when we heard more train noises. So we were stuck there, even though I wanted to film from somewhere else. Where I wanted to film from was this side of the tracks, but more towards the crossing, so I could get the train going around the entire curve around me. I'd also need the train to be on track 2, which is the train that this coal train led by 2 Aces is on. Well, to me at the time I thought I was out of luck, because I just saw the 2 westbounds on the same track. Surely the next train was another westbound on track 2, right? Yo! We got lucky and saw our 3rd westbound on the same track, this time being 259 westbound domestic stacks. And just look at that pan. Mwah! Chef's kiss. 259 would end up being our last train of this day, and later that month me and the boys went out to Johnstown to check out the Johnstown Overlook and see what we could foam over. After waiting for an hour, we got a westbound 22M with a leading and a trailing. Up at the Johnstown Overlook, you really get a sense for how long these trains actually are, which I found pretty neat. After that, we drove to Sheets to get some food, and on the way we saw some furry art graffiti of all things.
What kind of an idiot would put their persona on public display? Yo, what the?
While we were at Sheets, something annoying happened, which I will describe through example. Yep, the Illinois terminal went through while we were at Sheets, but it was trailing 404 and most of us had already seen that unit, plus in my opinion it's ugly as hell. Fight me. By the time we actually got trackside to start eating, the head end of 63V had already gone past and we only saw the helpers. In the video of 25G, you can actually see the helpers sitting down the tracks after cutting off 63V in motion. After this, 36A showed up with a C6M leading, obviously, then an ACC, 2 GP38-2s, then 2 more C6Ms and an ACU. And we even got a horn show. Eventually, the same ACUs we saw pass on 63V came down the line to hook up to 36A. Here's the video of them coupling to 36A, except the camera keeps zooming in on random things. Eventually, the ACUs started notching up and I got some amazing footage of the raw power of the one EMD engine spooling up, and if you want to hear that, you'll have to watch the unedited video. Gotta advertise it somehow. And yes, you did hear me right, I did say the one EMD engine spooling up because for some unfathomable reason, only the lead ACU was under power because as you can see here, only the trailing unit is complying with Tier 4 emission standards, whereas the first one is starting the Norfolk Southern Steam program. Anyway, let's play a little game. See how much you can decipher about the next train in only 1 second of footage. Ready, go. Alright, how much did you get? Did you get the fact that it's Norfolk Southern 597 and as-needed empty coal train from Baltimore, Maryland headed to Shire Oaks, Pennsylvania going at about 35.8 miles per hour under the bridge I'm currently standing on, led by NS 3643, a GT ED44 AC built in June 2026, and trailed by NS 4591, a GE AC44 C6M with started life as a C44-9W built in June 1998 and converted to a C6M in May 2022. While I was in East Conemaugh, PA on the bridge of Route 271 at 40 degrees 20 minutes 41.7 seconds north latitude and 78 degrees 53 minutes 8.4 seconds west longitude on November 15, 2025 at 4:48 p.m. being recorded on a Sony FDR AX43 in 4K at 30 FPS, creating a video that lasts 23.9 seconds in total. So, did you get all that? Anyway, 18N met with 597, and today 18N had the Savannah Atlanta Heritage Unit as a rear DPU facing west. And this is the normal shot that I got of 1065, however I can make it look like it's leading if I just do this, and that, and drag this over, and move this over here, and hit that, and there we go. So anyway guys, the Savannah Atlanta was leading 11N westbound today. Next we had NSW3A with a consist that rivaled that of 36A. What it lacked in quantity, it made up for in quality because the consist went ACE, C6M, ACU, and then a thoroughbred high hood fourth. NS clearly was on the good stuff when making the consist today. We then stopped at South Fork on our way home to catch Amtrak 43. We first saw one of the outbound components of the grain trains that head to Crescent to interchange with RJ Corman, although I don't know the symbol. And after another cat, Amtrak 43 would close out our day. These trips were certainly very peak and I definitely got a lot of good shots out of them. I feel like I'm getting a lot better at videography and handling my camera. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go complain for 20 hours straight about why I hate winter. Thank you for watching and have a chill day.